I'm Lidija Jones. I'm a Learning and Organisation Development Partner and I work at University for the Creative Arts and I've been there for over 10 years. I have been qualified as a liberating leadership practitioner for over 2.5 years now. I guess the one thing that really led me to become a liberating leadership practitioner is that we were really struggling with having some kind of leadership development at the university. And the result of that has been that we've had leaders that have been promoted into leadership roles without any development. We have had performance issues. We have had people across university that didn't really know what was expected of them, how they were doing. They received very little feedback and really didn't know where they were going with their careers or why they were there at the university. So the impact of that on the wider university has been really that our culture has suffered a lot, and we have seen it deteriorate over the last few years, where people feel demotivated, where people are doing very basic things. They're not really being high-performing teams. They're not really being high-performing leaders. They're not thriving in their roles and they're not thriving in their career. And their well-being has suffered, and our burnout and our turnover has been incredibly high. And that has led to us not necessarily performing as we should be, and certainly not achieving as well as we could be our strategic aims and objectives as a university. Having attended the Liberating Leadership Practitioner program, I found myself in the midst of books and activities and folders trying to figure out how this fits in with what we want to achieve and what we want to do, and what do I do in order to make a difference. I decided that I wanted to be a program over a longer period in order to give chance for people to embed the program. I decided to approach a team that I knew needed some development in their leadership. And the journey that we took on this incredible liberating leadership program has been fundamental for me and life-changing for them. We break the program down into sessions. So we did half-day sessions over 9 months. So we did one session every 4 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the diaries. So we took the principles of liberating leadership and we really explored what that actually meant in reality to them. And we had a lot of discussion from the different experience. And also I learned along the way, not as a leader only, but also as a facilitator and as a practitioner, around how I can bring this to life for people. So the initial vibe from people attending this program, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but all I can say is that they all felt really liberated. The clarity that they had in terms of what they almost had permission to do as a leader and what they needed to do as a leader was much more clearer for them. And they really saw a very clear path around where they start and how they develop their staff and how they develop themselves as a leader. So the impact of those changes, sort of a year on now from that program, that initial pilot program, has still been so incredible. They are still continuing their coaching with me, so they still want to continue that, even though we finished that as part of the program and there was no need for them to do that. Every now and then they'll just plug the Liberating Leadership book out of their pocket and go, so just remind me, where can I find that? But also not actually only as a leader, they're also using it sideways and upwards as well. So skills like explicitness, skills like feedback, they're absolutely picking that out and seeing how that not only impacts their leadership with their team, but also to the wider university. The difference that is making to the culture of that particular department is that you have staff that are much more clear around their objectives, about why their roles exist, why they're there in those roles, but also that they're more dedicated and more motivated. They can see the benefits not only to the university, but also to themselves as a team. So from a wider perspective, they want their other managers to do it. They want that to be really rolled down so that it can make even more a difference, so that what they're doing at the top, people are starting to do with everybody else within that department. So following on from the pilot and the impact that has had on our leaders of that particular pilot group, what the two key things for me were is that you can really tailor that to what you need. So we have subsequently run a 3-day program, but a few months apart, still giving them all the benefits of really embedding that learning with some action learning sets. And I think that's the beauty of that program, is that you really can adapt it to what the needs are for you. But what has also highlighted for me, and something that we're working on at the moment, is that actually it's all very well developing our leaders, but we have our colleagues, our people at the university that could really benefit from also having some development in terms of leading themselves, because it's all very well our managers doing a lot of work. We need our staff to do some of that work too, and to realise how they can thrive in their roles for their careers. So what I'm really excited for the next 6 to 12 months, having both of these programs running alongside each other, is that hopefully we can do a culture survey, and then we can start to see some improvement in terms of our motivations, in terms of our staff feeling valued, knowing their direction, but most importantly, just coming to work and having fun. The message I would give to anyone that is thinking about becoming a liberating leadership practitioner is do it. And why haven't you done it already?